There was a boy named Daniel, no older than 12, who lived on the cold concrete steps of a busy train station in the heart of the city. Every morning, thousands of people rushed past him, businessmen in polished shoes, students with heavy backpacks, mothers pushing strollers, and not a single one of them stopped. Not one of them looked down. Daniel was invisible to the world, just another shadow on the floor, another problem too uncomfortable to acknowledge. He wore a torn gray hoodie 2 sizes too big for his thin frame, and his sneakers had holes in the toes that let the winter air bite at his feet. He had a small cardboard sign that read, "Hungry, please help," but most people looked away the moment their eyes caught the words. Some even crossed to the other side of the corridor to avoid walking near him. He was used to it by now. He had taught himself not to feel the sting of being ignored, but deep inside, beneath the hunger and the exhaustion and the cold, there was something alive in Daniel that the streets had not yet managed to kill, a love so fierce and so quiet that it asked nothing of anyone. It was his love for music. Behind the column where he slept, hidden under a torn blanket, was a battered acoustic guitar he had found 6 months ago, near a dumpster behind a music school. One of the tuning pegs was broken and the bridge had a crack running through it, but the strings still sang when he touched them. Every night, after the station emptied out and the janitors finished their rounds, Daniel would pull out that guitar and play. He had never taken a single lesson. Everything he knew came from watching street musicians, from listening to songs drifting out of passing cars, from something deep in his chest that seemed to already know the language of music before his fingers ever learned the chords. He practiced in the dark, alone, whispering melodies to the empty corridor, too afraid of judgment to play when anyone was near. Then one Tuesday morning, something shifted. It was the coldest day of the year, and Daniel had not eaten in almost 2 days. A woman dropped a bread roll near him, and it landed in a puddle, and she didn't stop to offer another. Something broke loose in him in that moment, not bitterness, but a kind of quiet courage. He reached back, pulled out his broken guitar, sat up straight against the column, and began to play. At first, no one noticed. The morning crowd surged past him as always. But then a little girl stopped, tugging at her father's sleeve, her eyes wide and wondering. Then a young man with headphones paused, pulling one earbud out, tilting his head. Then an old woman slowed her steps and stood still, her shopping bag hanging forgotten at her side. The melody Daniel played was not a famous song. It was something entirely his own, a flowing, aching, beautiful piece that seemed to carry within it every cold night and every ignored morning and every small kindness he had ever witnessed. It was the sound of a child who had every reason to be angry at the world, and had instead chosen to love it. Within 3 minutes, a semicircle of people had gathered around him. Phones came out, but not to scroll, to record. Tears appeared on faces Daniel did not expect tears from. A businessman in an expensive coat crouched down to Daniel's eye level and simply listened, his briefcase on the ground beside him, his meeting forgotten. When Daniel finally stopped playing, there was a long moment of silence, and then the entire crowd erupted. Applause echoed through the train station like thunder. People pressed forward, not to rush past him this time, but to reach him. Food appeared. A warm jacket was draped over his shoulders. A woman who turned out to be a social worker knelt beside him and spoke gently, asking if he had family, asking if he needed help, and actually waiting for the answer. A music teacher in the crowd offered to give him lessons for free. The station manager, who had watched everything from the doorway of his office, brought him a hot meal and quietly made a phone call that would change Daniel's life. None of them had seen him before that morning. But his music had done what his cardboard sign never could. It had cracked open their rushing, distracted hearts and reminded them that kindness is not a transaction, it is a choice. Daniel had not played to impress anyone. He had played because it was the only true thing he had left, and in giving that truth freely, he received more than he had ever dared to hope for. If this story moved you even a little, please show some love to Kindness Corner Stories. Like this video, share it with someone who needs a reminder that beauty can be found in the most overlooked places. And subscribe to our channel so you never miss a story that matters. Your support means the world to us.